You know I actually care about something when I actually make a video. Last week, Deshawn Watson suffered an injury that ended his season. He completely destroyed his Achilles trying to run. Now, Cleveland Browns fans are known as some of the most kind, caring, and empathetic fans on the planet, so they responded accordingly. And by that, I mean booing him. I think it's just funny the idea of suffering an immensely painful injury and then getting booed off the field by your own fans. I mean, it is kind of hard to feel bad for him, seeing as he is a pretty terrible person. You can't even use the excuse that the allegations were a couple years ago. More allegations came in like a month ago. I mean, the NFL does a great job cracking down on NFL players who are bad people. But the point of this video isn't to talk about Deshawn Watson's character, it's just to talk about his god-awful football skills. So let's really go into a deep dive about his stint with the Browns. Before 2020, Deshawn Watson was considered one of the elite quarterbacks in the league. In 2020, he dropped 33 touchdown passes and 4,800 yards. Then shit completely hit the fan. He was suspended for the entire 2021 season, and then on top of that, 11 games in 2022. In 2020, Cleveland was actually one of the better teams. They had Baker Mayfield, who was turning into an elite quarterback, and they were able to beat the Steelers in the wild card game. They lost to the Chiefs, but that wasn't really their fault. They were never going to beat them. Then in 2021, Baker Mayfield suffered an injury. They kept playing him. It killed his confidence. He became bad, and then they traded him away. So now the Cleveland Browns had to decide what to do in terms of quarterbacks, and they had a couple routes to go on. Stick with your backup Case Keenum for a season. He's not going to be the best option, but he's a cheap quarterback that'll probably win you a couple games while you wait for a better option to come up. B, draft a new quarterback. It might take some time, but it could turn into a good option. Or C, trade 6 picks, which was your entire franchise's future, for a quarterback who hasn't played in a year and a half. 3 of these, of course, being first-round picks. Let's see everything that Houston did with those picks that they got. Kenyon Green, who wasn't the best player ever, but a much-needed offensive lineman for the Texans. Will Anderson, who's a defensive end, who's one of the best players on the Texans. Tank Dell, who's a solid wide receiver option. Now let's see how Deshawn Watson did. Deshawn Watson played 6 games in the regular season in 2022 and had 7 touchdown passes. Deshawn Watson in 2023 still played 6 games. He threw for 7 touchdowns, got injured, and barely played. In 2024, Deshawn Watson holds the lowest QBR in the league and suffered a season-ending injury after 7 games. In 3 years, Deshawn Watson never managed to play more than half of an NFL season, and in total played 19 games, which is barely 1 season. Sounds bad, right? Yeah, I haven't even mentioned his contract yet. He signed a contract for 5 years with $230 million guaranteed. Deshawn Watson is the 5th highest paying quarterback in the league, and he's played 19 games. Cleveland has paid $12 million per game for this man to throw interceptions and be dog shit.